Welcome to my channel. I'm Natalie, a poet and jewellery maker from Redditch, and I set up my small business Athena's Bounty back in 2019, focusing on the two things that I love most: helping people sparkle on the inside through poetry and to sparkle on the outside with my jewellery. Now, poetry's always been a massive part of my therapy journey, even before I knew I needed therapy, before I had sought therapy, and that was because it was so ingrained in me that having negative feelings, to be in a bad place mentally with my mental health, it was not something that I wanted to admit to. It's not something I wanted to go to the doctors and pour my soul out to. It was better to just bury it deep, denial, denial, denial. And that led to very negative handlings of all those dark feelings and traumas and things like that. Um, but one thing that was kind of my companion throughout all those dark times was poetry. Whether I knew that that was a form of therapy for me, I don't think I did. But I was kind of writing about all these negative things, these negative feelings that I had, the way that I felt about myself. And I suppose in that way, it was cathartic. It was not kind of going around my own head. It was at least put out there. And once it was put out there, it was then maybe a little bit easier to sometimes then tell people. That's how I felt. I mean, I didn't really share a lot of that poetry with anyone besides my mom. And even then, what I would tend to do was write a poem, and then if I kind of got to that point where I needed my mom to know what was happening inside my brain and how I was feeling, I would run into the room where she was, give her the piece of paper with the poem written on, and then run out, because I did not, I think I just did not want to admit that this was a problem, and I was a bit embarrassed about her reading it in front of me and this and that and the other. So yeah, that was the way that I dealt with it, and then afterwards we'd unpack it later. Um, but this is why I think poetry is such a powerful tool, and it can be used in so many different ways, in so many different forums. And I really want this channel to be a way of kind of sharing some of my poetry with you, as well as sharing some ways to hopefully inspire your own poetry and show you just how amazing poetry can be.